Hello, and welcome to another episode of Face to Face with Doug Schoon. I'm your host, Doug Schoon. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today I'll be answering 6 questions submitted by viewers. Don't miss your opportunity to have your questions addressed in detail by me during an upcoming episode. It's actually easy. Just send your questions, comments, topics, or myths for discussion to DougSchoonsBrain@gmail.com. Of course, I'll put that link up at the end of this presentation or this episode as well. Okay, let's dive right into the first question. Question 1. Doug, there are a couple of toenail reconstruction products on the professional market now that claim you can apply the product directly to the nail bed. These products have been used by podiatrists for years, yet we've always been told never to let monomer or uncured UV gels near the skin, let alone the nail bed. Can you explain the contradiction? There is no contradiction. Monomers and uncured UV gels should not be intentionally applied to the skin due to the potential for developing a permanent allergic reaction. This fact has been twice confirmed by the prestigious Cosmetic Ingredient Review Expert Panel, also known as the CIR. I agree with the CIR, and I don't condone the use of such products by nail professionals when intentional skin application is the goal. In my view, this should not be done. I understand that some clients may want you to perform these services, but that's not a very good excuse for performing any service beyond the scope of nail salon services. Now, as far as I know, very few podiatrists perform these services. Companies that market such products are attempting to convince more podiatrists to perform these services, but in fact, it's not very commonly done at all by podiatrists. Prosthetic nails are sometimes used to replace seriously damaged or diseased nails that have been intentionally removed or permanently lost due to a medical condition or an accident. Some of these prosthetic nails are based on materials other than what's used in the industry. In other words, materials that are different than those used by nail professionals. Silicones, for instance. But there are a few that are based on the same types of ingredients. Even so, this work is outside the scope of a nail technician service, and those who perform such services are taking a risk for themselves and their clients. If something goes wrong and the client is injured as a result of these services, the salon and the nail technician will have a lot of difficult explaining to do. If this type of work is performed in a region that has professional licensing, more than likely the nail professional will run the risk of losing their professional license should the authorities receive any complaints. Clearly, direct skin contact with artificial nail products can and does cause adverse reactions in sensitive individuals. And you can't always tell who's sensitive and who's not. The longer a person wears these prosthetic nails of any type, the more likely they will develop an adverse skin reaction. That's just how it works. Adverse skin reactions are caused by prolonged and/or repeated contact. Don't let this happen to you. Avoid working on unhealthy nails and always avoid skin contact with artificial nail coatings of all types. In short, I do not recommend these types of services. Instead, nail professionals should only service healthy and intact nails and skin. Question 2. I understand that acetone and other prep products dehydrate the nail plate only temporarily, and that nail oils counteract the effect quite well. Does nail polish or UV gel polish dehydrate the nail at all? Acetone only dehydrates the surface of the nail plate, and these nail coatings do the exact opposite for natural nails. They actually hydrate the nail plate. Everything from nail polish to UV gels will temporarily slow the passage of water to the upper surface of the nail plate, causing higher levels of moisture to build up underneath the coating. This increases the water content of the nail plate from a typical 15% water up to about 25% water content when coated with an enhancement or a natural nail overlay. This is also how nail oils work. These oils contain no water, so they cannot add moisture to the nail plate. Instead, nail oils slow down the passage of water, moving from the nail bed upward toward the surface of the nail plate to increase the moisture content in the same fashion. So in other words, the same thing occurs when applying anything that covers a nail plate, including artificial nails of all type. Question 3. Does filing in only one direction, toward the center, for instance, really help? The nail, that is. I've not found this to be true, and I've tested this concept by using high magnification photography to record the results of various filing techniques. After examining nail plates filed using various abrasive grits and filing techniques, I did not observe any differences in the condition of the nail plate when comparing filing in only one direction with filing in a back and forth fashion. Excuse me. This study was conducted on normal, healthy nail plates, so perhaps there would be a difference if the nail plates are damaged. But it appears to be a myth, and I've seen nothing to support the claim that filing in only one direction provides any benefits at all for the natural nail plate. Question 4. Actually sort of related. Are glass nail files really better for the natural nail? What's better for the natural nail is to use a nail file that's not overly aggressive. Low grit abrasives are much more likely to shred the nail plate, which can lead to over-thinning and peeling at the free edge. Glass files are equivalent to high grit abrasives and therefore are less likely to be overly aggressive or damaging. Of course, how the file is used is important as well. Excessive downward pressure can still damage a nail plate, even when less aggressive nail files are used. Downward pressure multiplies the effectiveness and therefore the aggressiveness of any nail file, so use them with caution. Question 5. I've noticed in particular that older ladies, say 60 plus, have a lot thicker nails that are sometimes challenging to cut, excuse me, even with professional equipment. Also, sometimes this is accompanied by a thickening of the nail bed underneath, which attaches itself to the nail plate